It is that time of the year when we celebrate the seniors for KU hockey as they finish the back end of the last series of the season against the St. Louis Billikens out of Matcha Silver East. Hello, everybody, and welcome inside Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. I'm Ryan Cartman, bringing you this game this afternoon between the Billikens and Jayhawks, as it is senior day here in Overland Park as our seniors are getting introduced. First senior getting introduced, Malcolm Johnson, the senior out of Edina, Minnesota. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, Edina, Minnesota, one of those two. But Malcolm Johnson, the defenseman for the Jayhawks, first to get spotlighted tonight, or this afternoon, I should add. But as I was saying earlier, this is a matchup between these two teams. If we look at the game on the ice as well, KU did take the last matchup last night, 5-2 against these Billikens, a much-needed bounce-back win for the Jayhawks, and that guarantees them an above 500 season. Came into last night's game 11-9-1. Now enter this game 12-9-1. So will finish above 500, while the Billikens right now are 18-2. 3-9-2 at home, 5-9 on the road. It's getting introduced now. This is Zach Schubert, the senior defenseman out of Lincoln, Nebraska. And boy, this guy's a hoot to be with on road trips, let me tell you. Brings the energy, brings the vibes. Nothing, and same with Malcolm, too. He's a fun guy to be around with. But boy, Zach, he can really bring it, that's for sure. But definitely a player favorite and a fan favorite, too, for these Jayhawks. So as we go through all these seniors, hopefully you folks from home can hear these descriptions that they're giving. So next one getting introduced for the Jayhawks is defenseman Blake Kern, the senior out of Orchard Park, New York. Hearn will be starting tonight for the Jayhawks on defense from the right side. And here comes his defensive partner, Zach Roberts, the assistant captain for these Jayhawks. PA announcer slipped up there. Roberts, the senior out of Orleans, Massachusetts. Again, the big guy for the Jayhawks, big presence on the ice. 6'5", 220 pounds, rolls robo. So that's the fourth senior for the Jayhawks getting introduced, and here comes the fifth one. It's going to be assistant captain John Feeney, the senior out of Wheaton, Illinois, 5'11", 155 pounds, beg your pardon, is John Feeney. And boy, have these guys been fun to watch these last 4 years, specifically John Feeney and his rise through the lines here at KU. So, folks, those are your 5 seniors for the Jayhawks. They'll be playing their last ever game wearing this hawk on their uniforms. Again, that is Zach Schubert, Malcolm Johnson, Zach Roberts, Blake Hearn, John Feeney. And if you look for the Billikens, they have 4 seniors as well playing their last ever game, repping the Billiken on the front of their uniform. Senior defenseman Aiden Phillips out of Westport, Connecticut. Senior forward Thomas Poulter out of Rockville, Maryland. The senior John West, a defenseman out of St. Louis, Missouri. And his brother, the senior Charlie West, 27 years old, in law school. So congrats to Charlie finishing up law school out of St. Louis as well. So starting lineups for the Billikens. Max Belly, the goalie from last night, faced 56 shots on goal, gave up 51 saves, gave up 5 goals, plus 900 save percentage. But again, just not enough under that barrage of shots. Starting on defense for the Billikens, it's going to be John West and Charlie West, the brothers, the seniors, playing their final ever game for the Billikens. So a nice tip of the cap there from head coach Liam Knobb, giving the 2 brothers, the 2 seniors, the start on defense. And you look at the Jayhawks, as we'll start with the national anthem, and we'll get right back to starting lineups. As after our national anthem plays, we look at the forward line for head coach Liam Knobb's team. Stays the same from last night on the left wing. It is going to be R.J. Lube. Centerman Ryan Frades, he had himself a goal last night. And on the right wing, it's going to be John Carney. He had himself a couple assists last night. When we look at the Jayhawks in net, it's going to be Chris Stone, his first ever appearance in net for KU, repping number 29 this afternoon. The sophomore out of Pembroke, Massachusetts. On defense for the Jayhawks, need I say less, Zach Roberts and Blake Kern, the defensive pairing, getting their final ever start together, wearing the crimson and blue. And for the Jayhawks forward line, same centerman and right winger from last night, Brett Siddons and John Feeney respectively. But Brett's brother Aiden moves up to be the first line left winger as Harry Ives moves down to left wing, the third line. Well, folks, I'm a senior as well, so we got 10 seniors if we want to say it here. 5 for the Jayhawks, 4 for the Billikens, and 1 up in the broadcast booth. And, well, we're ready to drop the puck here as off the draw, Aiden Siddons takes that after the win by his brother Brett. Before this game, as Belly shoots that one up to the net. Nice timing to talk for a little bit, but, man, before this game, just thinking about all the great memories that have been made calling KU hockey, of course. First couple of years with Gabe Daniel, and taking the reins for the last couple years myself. As we're 10 seconds into this one, Brett Siddons logging the half wall. Feeney tries to give it back to Siddons, can't, and it's dumped into neutral ice by Charlie West. But a lot of great memories have been made. Lots of great people met. Lots of great road trips as well. As I was mentioning Jack Schubert earlier, he could be a hoot, to say the least, on those road trips. But a lot of great memories, and I'm sure a lot will cross my mind. A lot of already have, as Siddons drops it back for Feeney as that puck finds its way into the far corner. And Feeney will wrap it around the half wall. Now trying to play it is Carney. Loses it for a second as it comes down neutral ice. John Feeney will send this down, and the Jayhawks go into forecheck. First line is still out there for the Hawks, 50 seconds into this one. Near half wall, Aiden Siddons goes up into the mitt of Poulter as he lets it go down and played in the corner by West. John West trying to clear it, can't keep it in his Landis. Landis over to Johnson. Johnson fires from the point. Tipped in front by Siddons. Thought that was going to go in. Couldn't tell if it went off the post or just off of belly. But it stays a 0-0 hockey game for now, as it's the first shot on goal this afternoon. Aiden Siddons, nice job staying in to take the offsides off as Callaghan goes in on the forecheck. Callaghan pressures Charlie West. And Charlie West tries to headman it to get it headman to him. Nothing going there. He's been out on the ice now for over a minute and a half. Puck comes in front of the net of Stone. Stone couldn't cover that up. In the high slot there was Lepresti, but he got tangled up with the Jayhawks. No opportunity for Evan Lepresti. He had himself a goal last night as well, the freshman out of Darien, Illinois. But I was saying earlier, a lot of memories have already come back to me, and I'm sure we'll relive a lot more through these final 60 minutes we get to spend together, folks, whether you've been watching from home or in the car or wherever you might be. It's been a pleasure calling these games for you for the last 4 years, the last 2 being the play-by-play. Going down on his rear end, it's Stutzer. So picking that puck up is Ibis momentarily as the Jayhawks try to enter. Callaghan swings it over to Lang. Lang with his head up tries to find Callaghan. Instead will stop on a dime. Low slot shot, Landis saved by Belly. Rebound opportunity for the Hawks. Comes out to Schubert in the neutral ice. Schubert tries to fend off Markowitz. Does by giving it off to Zach Roberts. Roberts off the skate of Lang. Lang trips up a man. Nothing called here as we'll play on. Behind it's for Stutzer. Stutzer whips it along the glass, pushes it up the blue line. Hearn tried to get it, couldn't. And the Billikens were 2-on-1 for a moment, but that puck went too far out in front of the stick of Ben Heithaus. Low slot opportunity for Heithaus there. Couldn't bang it past Chris Stone as he hugs his post tightly. Awkward angle shot on Stone, saved by the sophomore as we have a stoppage. Three shots on goal for St. Louis, 2 for the Jayhawks. Shot there deflected in front of the net of Stone, and it goes wide into the near half wall. Cross ice to Roberts. Roberts up to Huber as the Jayhawks look to make something happen. The left-handed shot of Huber skates in. Huber goes around the net. Low slot opportunity. They score! Nick Woolington gets the Jayhawks up early in this one. Huber finds Woolington on the doorstep. Nice pass from the young man. And Huber Woolington notches his 5th goal of the year, 8th point of the season. And the Jayhawks up early, just like last night, 16.5 remaining in the first. So as a sophomore Woolington starting senior day out for the Jayhawks with a bang. Woolington, of course, the local kid out of Gardner, Kansas. Huber with the shot goes off the glove of Belly and above the crossbar. As we're going to have our first penalty of the afternoon. It's going to go against the goal scorer, Nick Woolington. A tripping call is imminent here as Belly comes off the ice. Jayhawks almost got an own goal there, courtesy of a bad pass by the Billikens. But now the Billikens up an extra man as they enter on the rush. Trying to skate around 2 was Stutzer. He dumps it in the near corner, and the whistle blows. And the Billikens will get the first power play opportunity of the afternoon. There was a tripping called against Nick Woolington. And the Billikens power play, which was 0 for 3 last night. Of course, a couple of those coming minimal power, some short-time power plays off some 4-on-4 action. We'll try to get in the groove here, talking with head coach Liam Knob before the game, just encouraging his guys, get set up in your power play. No need to shoot immediately. Get set up and see what happens. That's Holtz in the far corner battling with Roberts. Holtz dumps it off now. Up top, this is Carney. Carney shot on, gets deflected in the front by Holtz and wide. Stutzer down low behind the net of Stone. Up top now. Shot, save, 5-hole by Stone. And cleared out by the Jayhawks. Just over 5 minutes gone in the first period. Bad turnover there for St. Louis. Feeney tried to feed it in the highest slot to sit-ins. Couldn't as the Jayhawks are delayed offsides here to help to touch up. 56 seconds remain on the Billiken power play. Skating up the far boards, John Carney. He moves in with the head of steam. Carney goes between the legs for a pass. Shot from the dot, gets deflected. Opportunity in front of a wide open net for the Billikens. Couldn't catch that one home. That was John West. As Stone puts his mid on top of that one. And we'll have our first stoppage on the power play. Nice look for John West. As the Billikens power play remains shorthanded on goals. Puck drops to the left of the net of Stone. Picking that up, that was Lepresti. Shot by Lepresti, blocked by Stone as he's down. Looks like he gingerly is getting up. Shot on the net of Belly as the puck goes the other way now. Taking a peek at Stone, still watching. Doesn't look like he feels great as this puck gets shot down the length of the ice by the Jayhawks. 14 seconds remain on the Billiken power play. Frady's around to Lepresti. Lepresti headmanned to John West. West loses it. Landis gets it. Johnson in front of the net with it. He carries that puck, and he turns it over. Shot from the dot. Saved by Stone. Does he get on top of that rebound opportunity? He doesn't. But coming away out of the zone with it is Rowan Vaughn. Vaughn checks behind him. Nobody gets tugged on. Vaughn tries to tuck it in on the backhand. Can't. Goes behind the net. Doorstep opportunity for Callaghan. Saved yet again by Belly. I think pushed up against the boards there. That was Vaughn. Schubert up at the point now. Schubert's shot goes off the skate of Phillips. Lang will bring it into the far corner. On the stick of Wasmith now. Wasmith battling with John West. Wasmith now to Vaughn. Vaughn tries to backhand it. Keeping his pad sturdy there was Belly. As getting taken down was Vaughn. He gets cross-checked again. There's a penalty call. Easy penalty call there to go against St. Louis. Should have been called earlier in my opinion, but there's a cross-check against the Billikens. An easy one to call there. Vaughn had no opportunity to get up at all. As this one goes against Evan Lepresti, and no argument from him. Wonder what could have been said maybe between Vaughn and Lepresti that made Lepresti do that, but Jayhawks get their first opportunity on the power play tonight, or this afternoon, beg your pardon. Jayhawks were 1 for 5 on power play opportunities last night. Five forwards out on this power play for the Jayhawks. Feeney with it at the half wall. John Feeney up to the point. It's Lang. Lang fires on net. He scores! Matthew Lang knocks that one home for the Jayhawks as they score on the power play. Or it looks like Callaghan. Callaghan entered the high five line first. I think Callaghan might have tipped that in front of the net. I think Danny Callaghan's going to get credited with the power play goal. Callaghan, of course, had a goal last night, so he notches another, his 8th of the season. First power play goal of the season, doubles the Jayhawks lead. We'll wait for the goal call, but typically our referees will go off of what the high five line was, and I wouldn't be surprised if Danny Callaghan gets credited with the power play goal, the freshman out of Illinois. Puck dangerously in front of the net of Stone. Shot by Frady's went wide of the net, and now it finds its way in the far corner. Referee says excuse me to the puck, lifts his right skate up as the Jayhawks now exit. They're 2-on-1 if they hurry. This is Huber with it. Huber centers. Shot on. Saved by Belly. What a glove hand there from the freshman out of St. Louis. Oh, my. Max Belly moving laterally there. And what a job by the young man. He stays, as we've seen last night, Belly really good moving laterally. Is able to close down the wickets. He gets very low when he widens out. And you saw last night stopped a couple of 5-pull opportunities for Aiden Siddons. Danny Callaghan is getting credit for that power play goal. Lang getting the assist, of course. So Callaghan, nice tip up in front of the goal crease as here's an opportunity for Jayhawks. Sprawling out there as a Billiken defender. Nice job. It was Kyle Van Rossum for the Hawks that had an opportunity. Billikens go for a partial line change as carrying this now is Holtz on the backhand. Off the post of Stone and out in front. And the Jayhawks come in on the rush. Mantis O'Neill, slap shot on. Picking that one out of the air was Max Belly as the whistle blows. 10 shots on goal for the Jayhawks, 6 for the Billikens as we're just under halfway in this first period of play. Face off to the right of the net of Belly, covers up the 5-hole. Left the rebound available for Brett Siddons. Now trying to tuck it in as the Jayhawks, and they do. John Feeney tucks it home for the Hawks as they're up 3 in Overland Park. John Feeney on senior day notches his 7th goal of the season, 13th point, and has the Jayhawks on cruise control in this first period. Siddons takes it, tries to go across size, thinking Feeney might have been home, but he said went in front of the net, and the Billikens dumped this behind the net of Stone. Stone got to get back quickly, falls on his backside trying to do it, but luckily no shot to come from the Billikens. Pesic with it, he falls over as the Jayhawks take advantage of that, and they move out. Siddons and offsides called here. Did not expect that call to be made. Close call, but it's going to be coming in the neutral zone, this face-off. So if you're just joining us, I'm Ryan Cartman, bringing you the last game of the season for these Kansas Jayhawks and the St. Louis Billikens as well. Billikens playing road here in Overland Park, Kansas. Jayhawks, red bottoms, white tops. Billikens going blue on top and bottom. Helmets as well. I do have to point out, though, and I saw this last night, Matthew Markowitz does have some lighter blue pants on. Everybody else on the Billikens is dark blue, so I don't know if Markowitz didn't pack the right color or what happened there, but hey, standing out a little bit, making a name for himself. Entering cleanly, that's RJ Lube. Shot on there, saved awkwardly by Stone as he moves left to right on his post as Jayhawks look to get this out. Talking with head coach Andy McConnell before the game, they want to make sure to not give too many high opportunity shot chances for the Billikens against Stone, knowing it's his first ever appearance in college hockey, for that matter, and first ever appearance for the Jayhawks as we have a stoppage here with 9:28 remaining in the first. But going to try to ease Chris Stone into this one as much as I can, as that was Stone's probably biggest test this afternoon. Maybe if you're not counting the one about 5 or 6 minutes ago when Billikens almost tucked it in on a wide open net. Huber with it. Huber shoots, goes off the side of the net and out. Huber with it yet again. Works into the high slot. Huber's shot off the crossbar as it pops up into the air. Huber goes at it again. Ibis with it. His defender falls down. He has a second. On the doorstep, it's Woolington that time, vying for his second goal of the afternoon and couldn't get it home. Losing an edge there was John Carney, and he'll skate back to the bench for a change. Ibis on the rush with Woolington. Ibis tries to find Woolington. Woolington, pass broken up there by John West. Coming the other way is his brother Charlie West. West works around Landis as his puck is behind the net of Stone. Huber loses it, but there to pick up that loose change was Landis. Off the glass he goes. Sent down the length of the ice. Not far enough for an icing. West tries to go the other way with it. Trying to get it intercepted was Cannon. Went behind him, but Schubert there to pick it up. Schubert goes across to Cannon. Cannon, the defenseman, enters, and he'll take a dump in wide, and it finds its way along the near boards. Zach Schubert tries to keep it in. Can't. As he sends it back across to Jimmy Cannon. It's Mantis O'Neill. He'll dump it in as the fourth line for the Jayhawks moves off the ice. Or beg your pardon, the third line fully comes off. The fourth line fully on for the Hawks. As is the Billikens now making a line change. Here is Van Rossum. Van Rossum, 2 against 1, gets pushed off the puck. A nice job by the St. Louis defenders. As teams vying for possession, it's Zach Roberts who says, I'll take this one. Fires it. Fires it right off of Carson Kuhn. As looked a little gingerly for a second, did Kuhn, but seems like he's fine now. Hit put on there behind the net of Stone as Jayhawks enter the Billikens offensive ice. Puck loose. Roberts will pick it up. Works round 1. Roberts in front of the net there trying to knock that one home was Van Rossum. Broken up, though, by St. Louis. Charlie West tried to go cross ice to the captain Frades, but it gets into neutral ice as the Billikens reset. Shot off the blocker, and trying to catch that one was Chris Stone, but Roberts instead bats it down with the glove. And it is Stutzer up top. Stutzer gets pressured off the puck. Here comes Hudson Huber with it. Huber trying to work through the legs of Stutzer, couldn't. And this is John Feeney with it. Bad turnover in front of the net of Chris Stone, and knocking that home was John Carney as the Billikens answer back with a goal of their own. Totally caught off guard by that one. Ugly turnover for the Jayhawks. Unexpected turnover for the Jayhawks, too. Brings us back into a 2-goal hockey game. And the Billikens might use this for some momentum to find some life offensively. That's John Carney, his 4th goal of the season, 8th point of the season, or beg your pardon, 10th point of the season, after having 2 assists last night. The sophomore of Washington, D.C. brings the Billikens within 2. Aiden Siddon's shot goes wide and above the net of Belly. Dump in there by the Jayhawks gets tipped by Stutzer as we have a stoppage here and missed a call. I think we're going to call, I think an offside is being called, or either an offside or a hand pass. I missed that one, folks. I think it's an offsides, but either way, we have a neutral zone faceoff. So 13 shots on goal for the Jayhawks. 9 for St. Louis. Jayhawks making the most of theirs so far this afternoon. Cannon enters in, dumps it back. Shot there by Aiden Siddons. Couldn't find its way to the net. Siddons still with possession. Schubert holds the line. Jimmy Cannon now shot. Losing his stick was Carson Kuhn. Didn't break it. He just lost it off the shot. Hit his stick at an awkward angle from the shot of Cannon. Aiden Siddons working around Kuhn. Picking it up, though, off the stick of Siddons is Stutzer. As here he comes. Stutzer works around Jimmy Cannon nicely using the boards. Stutzer tries to dump it back to Kuhn. Couldn't as the Jayhawks push this into neutral ice. Picked up by Markowitz. Markowitz almost lost it momentarily to John Feeney. Feeney had a streaking Brett Siddons coming down Broadway. But luckily for Markowitz, he kept that one. Nearwell Roberts being punished by Markowitz, and Markowitz is the victor there. Markowitz off the boards, off the skate, and here's Siddons. Siddons feeding, back to Siddons. Siddons, how did that not go in? Sprawling out, Max Belly keeps this a 2-goal game. High slot, Roberts with it, loses at his skates as the Billikens are finally able to clear, and it's Stutzer. Stutzer goes in with Lube. Stutzer tries to backhand it, looking for a penalty there, thinking he might have got elbowed, I think he was wondering. But no call coming for the likes of Noah Stutzer. Off the boards, getting to that puck first is Charlie West. Ryan Frady's with it now, the captain. I think Aiden Simmons might have been expecting a penalty there against him. Kind of came up a little slowly, but nothing to be called. Looks like Blake Hearn is injured as he dumps that one in. Just taking a look at him now, holding his left side gingerly as there's Hearn awkwardly getting into the benches. He'll immediately go down the tunnel. Blake Hearn, on his senior day, enters the Jayhawk locker room. Hate to see it for the young man. Shot saved by Vaughn. Near corner, Lang. Up to Wasmith. Cross ice now, shot by Vaughn. Goes wide. Pass broken up by the Billikens as they come the other way. This is Rowan Vaughn now. Vaughn to Callaghan. Callaghan shot, saved by Belly with the glove in. Nice job there by the young netminder. Face-off will come to the left of the net of Max Belly. Getting pushed down was Callaghan as he was looking for a penalty. He won't get one. Working around his man is Holtz as icing going to be called here. Holtz thought he got to it first. I thought he did too. But icing going to be called against St. Louis. Face off to the right of the net of Belly. Won by St. Louis. Off the draw, picking it up is Charlie West. Neutral ice with it, Poulter. Turns it over to Schubert. Now it's Cannon, headman up to Huber. Off his stick, icing, wave it off here. Behind the net, it was West for a second with it, but he turns it over. It's Ibis now. Ibis to Huber. Huber works it up to the point, dancing along the line. It's Cannon over to Schubert. Schubert's shot goes off the shins of Kuhn as here come the Billikens the other way momentarily. But Jimmy Cannon able to stop a breakaway. Schubert works it up to Huber. Huber and Charlie West battle for it. Logan Holtz pressured by Woolington, and Holtz is fine. Holtz now, shot, didn't get to the net of Valentini. It is Valentini in now for the Jayhawks, so don't know when that happened. Probably happened when Stone got injured. Totally missed that one. Folks, if you're watching from home, you guys might have saw it. I missed it. There's a shot by Woolington. Goes off the right leg pad. Goes off the right leg pad of Belly. And neutral ice now is the puck. Hearn with it, but yeah, totally missed Stone coming out of the game. So this is Jacob Valentini now in for the Jayhawks in net. Cross ice, Hearn. Hearn Off the skate of Pesic, not much to do there for Blake Hearn. Stutzer now. Stutzer enters cleanly. Stutzer on the backhand. Will stop and wait. Stutzer centers it on the doorstep. Rebound opportunity for the Billikens. Couldn't catch it home as we have 90 seconds remaining in this period. And scooping that up is Jacob Valentini for the stoppage. So Jacob Valentini, his first appearance for the Jayhawks, if I'm not mistaken. I'll fact check that here in a second. As with it is the fourth line for the Jayhawks and Mantis O'Neill. O'Neill stops. That's covered up quickly by Belly as racing in there was Osberg. Off the draw, won by Siddons initially, but deflected out by the Billikens. Feeney with it now, trying to keep it in. He couldn't. And it's battled for along the far boards in front of the scorer's box. Dumping it in, it's Frady's. Behind the net, Valentini tries to feed it up to Siddons. Can't. And a shot there by Markowitz goes wide. He was looking for a tip in front of the net as we're under 60 seconds to play in this first period. Feeney gets turned around. Far half wall getting that is Lube. Lube behind the net tries to come out with it. Feeney picks it up. Pushed off the puck by Lube momentarily. And grabbing it, this is Malcolm Johnson. Under 30 remain in the first. Brett Siddons enters. Siddons waits. And he still waits. Look at Brett Siddons and his stick handles. Finally loses control of it with 15 seconds remaining in the period. Billikens trying to make one last rush up the ice, but the Jayhawks impede them. Landis across the Cannon, 5 seconds remain. And Jimmy Cannon will just sit on this puck, and the Jayhawks will take a 2-goal lead into the first intermission, up 3-1. 19 shots on goal for the Hawks, 11 for the Billikens. It has been an onslaught of shots. Max Belly has had to face yet again. So taking a look at Jacob Valentini. Yes, this is his first college appearance as well. So both goalies suited up for the Jayhawks, Stone and Valentini. Both their first ever collegiate appearances. So it'll be fun to see how the rest of this game turns out, as so far the two netminders for the Jayhawks have looked solid. Lone goal scorer for the Billikens, John Carney, is fourth of the season. Brought it within a 2-goal game, but the Jayhawks 3-goal scorers, John Feeney, Danny Callaghan on the power play, Nick Woolington, all first, second, and third line right wingers for the Jayhawks, have the Jayhawks up 3-1 as we enter the first intermission. Keep it right here on the KU Hockey YouTube channel. Back inside Advent Health Sports Park as we get ready for the start of the second period between the Billikens and the Jayhawks on Senior Day. The Jayhawks making the most of Senior Day through 20 minutes, leading St. Louis 3-1. We have 5 seniors graduating for the Jayhawks after this season. That is Feeney, who has scored a goal, as well as Roberts, Hearn, Johnson, and Schubert. 4 seniors graduating for the Billikens. That is Aiden Phillips, Thomas Poulter, John West, and Charlie West. And John Carney, the lone goal scorer for the Billikens. Well, folks, again, it is Senior Day, and as well as with 4 Billikens and 5 Jayhawk players, Senior Day for me as well. So it's been a great time here with KU hockey, and I know I said it before. A lot of memories to be had, and just remembering when this place first opened, as I walked outside to catch some fresh air between intermission, just thinking how far this place has come. We've got a volleyball tournament just behind our backs here at Blue Hawk. If you walk out the doors, you'll see all the volleyball stuff getting set up as we drop the puck for the start of the second period. See all the volleyball stuff set up, and parking lot packed full this afternoon as the sun starts to set in Overland Park. As there's a shot from Feeney, saved by Belly as it's deflected to his right side. But I remember coming in here for the first time. Not everything was finished up yet, but they gave us a tour, a few of us a tour. And boy, we could tell this place was going to be special. And it sure has been special for some pretty memorable Jayhawk wins. Doorstep, deflected out with the glove of Zach Roberts. That looked like it was going to go over the shoulder of Valentini. Shot there into high slot. Goes off the blocker of Valentini. Shot from up high. Valentini tries to save it off the rebound, couldn't. As Valentini struggling, corralling in these rebounds for Jayhawks, but keeping them up too. Big shimmy there given by Frades to Brett Siddons. As here's Brett going after the puck. Brett hurries in. Siddons poke checked off of it, asking for a penalty. He won't get one from our referee as he kicks the stick of Stutzer away from him. And Stutzer wanted a penalty at that one, so both players involved in that wanted penalties, but they didn't get him. Puck dumped in by St. Louis around the net of Valentini at win as St. Louis gets it off a turnover. Big hit put up on the blue line as down is a Billiken. Shot goes above the crossbar. That was Thomas Poulter who was down as he slams his stick in frustration. Didn't see exactly what happened there. I was looking ahead of the play. But Poulter slams his stick down in frustration as he's a little rattled. Markowitz enters in. Dumps it back. This game's starting to get a lot more physical, folks. A lot more bodies flying down on the ice. Seniors, as well as all these players, leaving it out for the final game of the 25-26 campaign. Malcolm Johnson skates around, says he'll have another look, and gives it to Lang as Lang gets bodied to the ground. And Johnson lays a body. Shot there, saved by Valentini. As where the heck did this all come from? As we're going to have a penalty assessed here. I think that's going to be to Johnson off the hit, given to Pesic. It will be, as Pesic is ginger to get up. And I think it's an interference being assessed to Malcolm Johnson. If so, that'll be a second interference of the weekend. No, it's going to be a roughing call to Malcolm Johnson, his second minor of the weekend, as the Billikens go back on the power play. 0 for 4 this weekend, 0 for 1 this afternoon as we move into the evening hours here in Kansas. 17:48 remain in the middle period to play. Face-off one, and off the draw, it is the Billikens with it at the line. Brett Siddons tries to knock it out. Stutzer, though, holds strong for the moment. Dumps it down low, and Blake Hearn will do the honors and send it in behind the net of Belly. Stutzer, as he enters on the rush, enters cleanly. Stutzer will wait up high, works down low, trying to work around the check of John Feeney. Feeney exits. Brett Siddons waits to pick it up. He had a lane to rush, but coming in quickly was a Billiken defender. Here's Feeney on the rush. And that same Billiken defender, Markowitz, breaks up Feeney's stick handling. Feeney opts to go for a change, and it's Vaughn coming on the ice for the penalty kill. 70 seconds remain on the St. Louis power play. Up top, Stucher, cross ice. That is Holtz. Holtz tries to get a shot on, blocked by Roberts as he sends it out halfway to the red line. Billikens off the reset yet again. Pressure there is Vaughn, and it works. Brett Siddons on his stick to Vaughn. Vaughn shot. He scores! Rowan Vaughn, a newly minted 40-point getter after last night's game, gets a shorthanded goal for the Hawks. Beautiful stick work in down low by Brett Siddons to get that out to Rowan Vaughn and even get it away from the two Billiken players that were over him. And Siddons backhanded it out to Vaughn from what it looked like. And Vaughn found the 5-full on Belly as Jayhawks yet again with a 3-goal lead. Belly out of his net to play it. Got pressured by Lang and sends it down the length to Cannon. Cannon cross ice to Schubert. Schubert works it off the boards back to Cannon, and Cannon will do the honors this time. 28 seconds remain on the minor rough to Johnson. Lang puts it on and goes through the crease of Belly. Whiffing on it there is Lepresti. Off the boards and off his skate, that was West with an opportunity. Shot there, saved by Valentini, rebound attempt. How did that one not go in? Trying to tuck it in there was a Billiken, but keeping it out was a Jayhawk defender. I think it was Schubert, and two Jayhawks don't have a stick right now. Schubert without his stick and Valentini without his stick as Schubert trips over his own stick. Valentini gets his stick back. Schubert gets his stick back. Back on the ice is Johnson, and we're at even strength. Well, what a sequence there. As entering the zone is Vaughn. Rowan Vaughn dumps it to Callaghan. Callaghan shot saved by Belly. That is Wasmith. Down low, Vaughn. Vaughn from red line goes across the crease of Belly. Now it's Lang. Lang up to the point. Shot there. Easy glove save for Belly. Shot courtesy of Gavin Wasmith. As we have 15:06 remaining in the second. So two special teams goals for the Jayhawks this weekend. Last night on the power play, courtesy of Blake Hearn's first goal of the season. And now it is Rowan Vaughn shorthanded. That is Rowan's 26th goal of the season. Beg your pardon, 27th goal. He had the goal last night as well. Markowitz, headman up to Heithouse off his stick. Waiting to enter is Carney, and he does. Carney, shot from an awkward angle, goes streaking across the mask of Valentini. Couldn't keep that one in there. Was Stutzer. He sent it down low. I don't think he knew where the puck was exactly. So the Billikens had to reset, and it gives the Jayhawks this opportunity. Huber races in, trying to center it. Goes behind Nick Woolington as the Billikens go the opposite way on the rush. Carney from the half wall, centers. Shot by Markowitz. Had Valentini going the other way. Shot there by Heithouse. Goes off the post as Valentini finds himself on his skates. That time figuratively. 22 shots on goal for the Hawks. 17 for the Billikens. Shot on. Trying to deflect it in front of the net was Ibis. But kicking it out of harm's way first was the netminder Belly as he gives Ibis a little blocker to his chest saying, "Get away from me. Get out of my crease." Huber. Roberts tries to get to it. He does to Hearn. Hearn centers in the neutral ice to Ibis. Ibis shot goes up the right leg pad and kicked aside by Belly. Hit put on Ibis by Palter, but he shook it off, and Palter was the one who went down partially. Huber's shot saved off the glove of Belly. Palter gets to it, and he sends it off the boards. Roberts picks that up. Roberts to Hearn. The two seniors working with each other. Hearn, though, turns it over to Poulter. Tired Billikens players out here. Again, they have a short bench, only 15 skaters for this Billikens squad. Trying to keep it in was Stutzer. He couldn't, and he almost lost it again and gave up a rush to the Jayhawks as Stutzer loses it off his stick and says a word not suitable for work as he slams his stick in front of his bench, and we keep going. Shot by Phillips goes above the crossbar, and a rebound opportunity in front of the crease of Valentini, lost sight of the puck as this puck's in neutral ice. Jacob Valentini having a tough time out there, it seems. Loses control of his bearings, it seems like, and of where the puck is being located. Billikens have had some scoring opportunities on Valentini as they look for more. Landis behind the boards goes to Van Rossum. Van Rossum trying to give it up to somebody. There's Osberg. Goes off his stick. Back to Van Rossum as Van Rossum dumps it in deep. Behind the net, that is O'Neal centering it for Osberg. Osberg couldn't get it behind the net. I think it was blocked in front by Belly. Might have been wide of the net as well. Shot from the blue line. Dumping Morlauther goes in as Valentini tries to hug his post there as it went off the boards and right to the stick of Frades. Markowitz gets pressured off by O'Neal. O'Neal working Frades as this puck comes loose now. 11.5 remain in the second. John Feeney up high to the point. It's Cannon. Cannon shot. Trying to deflect it in front was O'Neal. Went below his stick. This is West with it. Now Jimmy Cannon. Cannon shot off a stick. Little deflection off the stick of O'Neal as well. Went wide to the left of the net. Here comes racing onto ice. This is Carney. Carney dumps it. Shot on. Blocked in front by Osberg. Neutral ice trying to get it off the stick was Feeney. Tried to go for a 2-on-1, but he couldn't. Working around one. Shot on. Saved by Valentini. Up into the netting, and we have a stoppage after quite a few consecutive minutes of play. Have to catch our breaths now. .10:49 remaining in this second period. Face off to the left of the net of Valentini. Off the draw, trying to get a shot on was St. Louis, but we want the stick of a Jayhawk. Here's Aiden Siddons with it now. Siddons rushes in, has Feeney if he wants him. Siddons gets dragged down, and that's going to be about as easy of a penalty call as we've seen, bar maybe that cross-check to Lepresti, or against Lepresti, and I'm guessing we're going to have a holding here called against Stutzer. It's going to be a hooking to Stutzer. This is his third minor of the weekend. Had an elbow and a cross-check called against him last night. So the Jayhawk power play back out. Successful already once. This afternoon, Callaghan's goal came on the power play. So I said earlier it was 2 special teams goals for the Jayhawks this weekend. It is 3. Callaghan on the power play, Hearn on the power play last night, and Vaughn today shorthanded. This is Rowan Vaughn going for another special teams goal, and he gets it. Rowan Vaughn works forehand, backhand, forehand, and tucks in behind Max Belly, giving the Jayhawks a 5-1 lead. Rowan Vaughn, his second special teams goal of the afternoon, as we were just talking about him. Shorthanded earlier, now on the power play. His 28th goal of the season gives the Jayhawks a 4-goal lead. Falling down there was Blake Hearn. Funnily, as Zach Roberts shakes his head at him, they've been playing next to each other for the past few years. So just laughing that one off as we're ready to drop the puck here after that Vaughn power play goal. So it is 43 points for Vaughn this season. Got his 40th on the goal last night. Had an assist last night as well, and now 2 goals today. Give him 43 points. Congratulations to the freshman out of Minnetonka, Minnesota. This is Aiden Siddons in a high slot. Knocked off his stick as he'll keep it in at the point. Goes off of Billiken. Brett Siddons to pick it up, but that goes straight to Charlie West. Charlie West, a graduating law school student. His final game for St. Louis. Seen a lot of time in this St. Louis program, of course, going through law school. Aiden Siddons from the circle. He circles around. Siddons trying to find Roberts down low to the defenseman. Where did Zach Roberts come from playing that far down low? In front of the net of Valentini, he'll cough it up to Hearn. Hearn to Brett Siddons, back to Blake Hearn. That's Jayhawks run to weave. John Feeney cross to Aiden Siddons. The laid off sides is the call as the Jayhawks did touch. And we'll have a neutral zone faceoff. Aiden Siddons was looking up at that far linesman, and he saw he had the hand up. I don't think another Jayhawk saw that, though, or maybe they just touched it up because they just wanted to get going and wait for the faceoff. Either way, under halfway, or just over halfway through the Saki game, the Billikens out of Matcha East taking on the Jayhawks out of the West. And we have a good one here. I'm Ryan Cartman bringing you this. 2nd of 2 between these two teams. On the doorstep was Rowan Vaughn, now vying for a hat trick, but couldn't bang that through. Jayhawks won last night 5-2. And now trying to cap off the season with a win and cap off a senior day with a win, as we have a delay penalty called here. Getting tripped up after the fact was Danny Callaghan by Lepresti, but that's not going to be the call. It's going to be a high stick assessed to Danny Callaghan, speaking of him. So the Billiken power play will get another opportunity this afternoon. So face-off will be coming to the left of the net of Valentini, and already sent out there. Neutral ice, racing forward is Ibis. Ibis gets to it on the backhand. Forehand now, shot by Ibis. Saved by Belly. Belly had to look for it again. Fell in between his leg pads, and he covered that one up. Calling back for it, there was Huber. He was the trailer with Ibis. But Ibis opted to shoot it himself, but shot it right into the guts of the netminder, Max Belly. Minute 51 remain on the minor to Callaghan for high sticking. This is Charlie West. West pressured by Huber. High slot now, shot off the stick of Malcolm Johnson into the netting. And Valentini, you can see him laughing there, his shoulders going up and down. Just batted that one away, and he ended up on his backside. So he'll laugh that one off as his face-off will come to his left. Huber to take it for the Hawks. Stutzer for the Billikens. Stutzer wins it. And Schubert, the defenseman, able to get it down the length of the ice to kill some more time. Under 8 minutes remain in the second. Belly leaves it as the Billikens set up the power play. Nice passing there for St. Louis. That's Lepresti who handles it. As we're going to have another penalty here. This one's going to go against the Jayhawks. Belly coming off the ice. And interestingly, Stutzer just gave that right up to Schubert. I think the Billikens want as much 5-on-3 time as they can get. And it's going to be Huber going to sit for a couple. And it is going to be for a slash. Hudson Huber going to the box for a slash. And a big, big, big opportunity for these Billikens to get back in this one, down 4. So yeah, looking back at it now, great thinking there by Stutzer just to let Schubert touch up that puck to get as much 5-on-3 time as possible for St. Louis. Robert tries to clear it. He does. It's Brett Siddons. He's with Charlie West. Siddons around to West. Loses it. West also loses a stick. We have 52 seconds of 5-on-3 time remaining. Stutzer works it in. Noah Stutzer from the half wall. Heel away. Jayhawks opt to not pressure as they set up the triangle. Stutcher tries to feed it down low to West, to Charlie West, and West left his post. Stutcher on the one time. What a save there by Valentini with the right toe. Behind the net, West. Stutcher waits, moves up high. Now down a little Lepresti. Lepresti's shot saved by the blocker of Valentini. 13 seconds remain, 5-on-3. Behind the net, trying to center it there. And we have a goal. We have a goal. Trying to center it was Evan Lepresti, I think, and I think it just went off the skate or the backside of Jacob Valentini and in the net. So a very anticlimactic power play goal for the Billikens has them now trailing 3. So I think, see, as we take another look, I think that was actually RJ Lube. That was RJ Lube for the Billikens. That was not Lepresti. So give RJ Lube a power play goal, his second goal of the season, as the Billikens down 2 with still 50 seconds remaining on the 5-on-4. Remember, Huber had that slashing minor called against him. Get anticlimactic or not, the Billikens will take it away. So here comes Vaughn racing in. Vaughn, forehand, backhand. Look at those stick handles. Tries to tuck it in, can't. Instead, it'll sit behind the net of Belly. And the majority rules here as the Billikens get it off the stick of Vaughn. 25 seconds remain on their power play. Markowitz off the skates to Johnson. 15 seconds remain. Markowitz near boards. Setting up the power play. Markowitz goes around Lang. Markowitz shot out the blocker of Valentini up and into the netting with 4 seconds left on the kill for the Hawks. Off the draw, Russell for the puck. That's catching a pop fly there was Jacob Valentini. Out of the box is Huber. So we have a little extracurricular to the left of the net of Valentini as Schubert's stick goes flying. Be interesting to see if our referees do anything about this. And Valentini looking like a center fielder right there. You know, put him in, coach. He can play center field. That old John Fogerty song. I think it was Fogerty, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Face-off won by the Jayhawks. Ibis back down to Schubert. Schubert headmans it. Jayhawks are 3-on-2 if they hurry. Hubert tries to split 2. Hubert still with it. Shot couldn't go on. The net of Belly. The puck ends up behind the net. And now up top to Cannon. And Cannon puts it on a yo-yo and sends it the other way. Huber cross ice off the boards, Ibis. Ibis shot saved by Belly. Rebound opportunity right in front of him as he'll hop on top of that one with just over 5 minutes remaining in this middle act of play. Face off to the right of the net of Belly. Hearn's shot blocked by the ankle of Frades. Puck now finds its way to St. Louis and right back to Hearn. Jayhawks up to touch up. They were offsides. Under 5 minutes remain. High slot. Huber works around 1. Huber down low shot. Saved by Belly. Rebound opportunity also saved when it kicks back out to St. Louis. RJ Lube turns it over at Zach Roberts to Hearn to Huber now. Huber tries to feed it up to Woolington. Woolington tried to stay on sides, couldn't. Jayhawks bench not fond of that call. Looked like Woolington might have kept that skate on side. It was close, though, as his face-off will come out to neutral ice. .4:38 remaining. in the second period. Osberg in the fourth line to take the face-off for the Jayhawks. It's the first line and Ryan Frades to take the face-off for the Billikens. This is Lube with it. Lube already a power play goal tonight, looking at another goal. Rebound there off the shot of Valentini. Dangerous if you're a Jayhawk, as on the doorstep there was the Billikens. Getting pushed into the boards was Kyle Van Rossum off a nice check by John Carney. Here is O'Neal. O'Neal goes behind the net on the backhand, tries to protect the puck the best he can. He does. Shot there, fired by Malcolm Johnson. A ripper goes above the crossbar. This is Wasmith. Wasmith up top. Johnson will try again. Blocker to side by Belly. Far side of the ice, trying to dump it back. That was Palter, I think. No, it was Markowitz, number 8. Near half full. Battling for it is Holtz with Wasmith. Jayhawks get to it. This is Montes O'Neal. O'Neal, the freshman out of Missoula, Montana. Big sky country out there. Speaking of O'Neal, here he is in the far corner. Battling for it with Stutzer, and coming away with it is the Jayhawks momentarily. But they turn it over to St. Louis, and St. Louis turns it right back over to the Jayhawks. Both teams playing hot potato with each other here these last 20 seconds. Stutzer now in front of the net of Belly as he'll do a little 360 swirl there just to make sure nothing goes in behind his net. As Stutzer loses an edge there, that's what Belly was looking for when you did that 360, to make sure Stutzer didn't do just that. As this puck's in neutral ice now, possessed by the Jayhawks, with just over 2.5 minutes remaining in the second. Feeney. Around the net goes John Feeney, the assistant captain. Feeds it to his captain, Brett Siddons. Check there by Lepresti into the legs of the referee as Siddons gingerly gets up. I think talking to a referee, maybe not so gingerly, more upset, as here's a penalty called here. It's going to be delayed against the Jayhawks. Big hit there put on by Aiden Siddons against Whitehouse as well, as we start to get physical inside Advent Hill Sports Park. So Brett Siddons won in a penalty, but the penalty's actually going to go to his brother Aiden, as Brett there trailing behind his brother, wanting an explanation, doesn't like the call. Aiden doesn't like it either. And we'll find out what it is right here. It's going to be a rough to go against Aiden. So the Jayhawks penalty kill back out on the ice after giving up a power play goal on our most recent shorthanded attempt. Boy, and you imagine if the Billikens could hammer a power play goal here in these last 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Of course, only 2 minutes on the power play. Sense a little bit of a momentum shift here heading into the second intermission. Lepresti from the half wall. Behind the boards, calling for it there was a Billiken, but the Jayhawks get to it first as they send it down the length. Racing for it is Rowan Vaughn. Belly has to get rid of this in a hurry. Does just in the nick of time, as here come the Billikens now on the power play rush. Stutzer dumps it for Lube. Lube gives it right back up to Stutzer. And this puck's loose behind the net. Stutzer on his stick. Stutzer loses control of it as here come the Jayhawks. Dumped up for Matthew Lang. Lang checks behind him. Sees he has a trailer in Rowan Vaughn. Vaughn, that trailer, here he is. Wraparound shot, saved by Belly. Jayhawks looking really good on the penalty kill so far in these first 50 seconds. Dump in there, it goes rocketing off the glass. And controlled by St. Louis now. A minute gone, and the man advantage. Scooting on in is John Carney. Carney works it along the boards, and Rowan Vaughn easily says, "Mom, look what I found," and sends it down behind the net of Belly, as we'll do it again. Belly got to get rid of it, finally does, gives it up to the captain, Frades. Frades off the board to Kuhn. Kuhn finds the stick of Johnson, and he'll try to kill as much time as possible and finally sends it down to length. 30 seconds remain on this Billiken power play. Less lethal than it was on their most previous one when Lube got the power play goal. Center of the ice, Feeney grabs that one, and a little deja vu, you might say. Right back to the stick of belly. 14 seconds remain on the power play. 4-second differential between game clock and power play clock. Getting that one down low now. 8 seconds remain in the period. 3 on the power play. Coming out of the box now. This is Aiden Siddons. Shot on there, saved by Valentini, and that'll do it for the second period. A little more chippiness in this second period. And Billikens in the period on the power play, but not much going there for them. If anything, the scoring opportunities came the way of the Jayhawks. But the Jayhawks will yet again take a 3-goal lead into intermission. Goal for the Billikens coming courtesy of RJ Lube on the power play. Jayhawks goal coming from Rowan Vaughn, his second special teams goal of the night. Also scoring in that period, I want to say it was, I can't remember if it was Langer Callaghan who scored. No, I think it was either Langer or Feeney. Can't remember. To look back at my notes. Forgot to mark down which period those gentlemen scored in. But we'll send it to break here on the KU Hockey Channel. 5 seniors for the Jayhawks, 4 seniors for the Billikens. Their last 20 minutes of collegiate hockey. And, well, for me, my last 20 minutes of broadcasting KU hockey. So, folks, sit back, relax, enjoy as we get to enjoy the last 20 minutes. We see these seniors repping their college uniforms. It might get emotional in these last 20 minutes, but we'll try to keep it together here. Keep it right here on the KU Hockey YouTube channel. Back inside Advent Hill Sports Park at Blue Hawk, the sun finally setting in Overland Park as the sun also sets on the St. Louis Billikens and your Jayhawks seasons. As the Jayhawks look to end it on a high note, up 3 goals over St. Louis with 20 minutes of hockey, barring any overtime remaining in this season. See Brett Siddons giving his team a pump up. You can only imagine what he's saying. Same like Ryan Frady's the captain for St. Louis, giving his team a pump up and probably saying, hey, for both these guys, St. Louis has 4 seniors, KU 5 seniors. Frady's not a senior, he's a sophomore. Siddons himself a junior, saying, hey, let's do it for the seniors. Come out, compete these last 20 minutes, lay it all on the line to show just the amount of appreciation you have for your seniors. And well, folks, the seniors' final regulation period of hockey, my final regulation period of hockey, starts right now. Roberts, head man up to Brett Siddons, the captain. Just speaking about him, Brett Siddons gets pushed by Frady's the fellow captain, as sending him to Brett Siddons to the ground was Charlie West. Hearn across to Roberts. These 2 senior defensemen, the last time we'll see them wearing Jayhawk uniforms. Brett Siddons gets poke checked by John West. Picked up by Charlie West now. Charlie West deflected off the skate there of John Carney, and Carney gets it back. Carney's shot goes off a Jayhawk and up in the netting out of play. Just over 40 seconds gone in the third. 33 shots on goal for KU, 23 for St. Louis. And goal scoring has been a problem this year for St. Louis. Talking with head coach Liam Knob for SLU before the game, saying, hey, the goals they scored yesterday, 2 goals, it's tough to score more than a couple goals against Matcha Silver West teams. Matcha Silver West is definitely some of the stronger teams in ACHA D3 hockey, and specifically in the Matcha Conference. Puck dumped in by Poulter. Behind the net, this lies. High slot now, shot, saved by Valentini. Rebound also goes out into the high slot, and it's picked up by Markowitz. Markowitz circles around, poked away, and here comes Rowan Vaughn on a breakaway. Vaughn in all alone. Vaughn tries to go 5-hole, saved by Belly. Belly, while making that save, dislodged his own net, so linesman will go to check that, but again, Max Belly staying low when he goes lateral. He is not too accustomed to giving up the 5-hole goal. And these breakaways for the Jayhawks, I don't think any of their breakaways have converted into goal this weekend, if I remember correctly. And trying to keep that one in or take it back out was Heighthouse. That was Heighthouse, yes, but couldn't fully keep it out. So it'll be offsides against St. Louis. Face off in neutral ice, off the draw, taken by St. Louis. On the backhand shot, swallowed up by Valentini. Draw comes to the left of the net of Valentini. Won by the Billikens. They score! The Billikens score. Shot by Markowitz, deflected in front by Heighthouse. And now St. Louis only down 2 in this game. And for Ben Heighthouse, his first goal of the season comes in his very last period of regulation play this season. The freshman out of Florissant, Missouri. Or Florissant, Missouri, beg your pardon. Florissant, Missouri. There you go. Got some hope from the fans. I saw that and I looked and I said, I don't know. So we went for it. Thank you. Getting some compliments from the fans down here. Trying my best with that name. Of course, coming from Southern California, some of these names, you look at them and you say, what is that? But we're working here inside Overland Park, and so are the Billikens as well, now only down 2, finding themselves right in this hockey game. Keeping it in there on the line. That was Kearney in neutral ice. There is Markowitz with it, as they're 2-on-1 if they hurry. The Billikens are. Shot on, goes wide of the net of Valentini. Losing that momentarily. That was Ibis. Almost coughed it up again to Kearney. Did Johnson. Jayhawks playing with fire here to open up the third period as they ice the puck. Face-off will come in front of to the side of the net of Valentini. And the Billikens now with all momentum starting off this third period. Big problem for the Jayhawks this year has been finishing games completely and playing a little bit down to their opponent in this third period. They're most definitely letting all those things happen right now. Picking himself up was Lepresti and trying to get to it before Johnson could, but Johnson was able to send it out. And now it's Ibis who controls the puck. Ibis on the forehand. Ibis wraps around. High slot. Woolington shot. Goes above the crossbar and off the back of the net. Opportunity there for Johnson, goes out the post. Another shot from Johnson, saved by Belly. Another shot from Woolington, saved by Belly. And Belly yet again dislodges his own net. So we'll have a stoppage here. Belly playing nice to his left post. And just the amount of force that he uses to push from his right to his left keeps dislodging his net. Nothing wrong with that, though, playing the puck. As the Jayhawks won it off the draw. Puck battled for along the boards and picked up by Holtz. Holtz sends it deep, but Jimmy Cannon gets, well, he thought he got to it first, and he overskated the puck. Gets to it now. Cannon with it off a deflection from Van Rossum. Cannon sends it down deep. Belly plays it again. Belly way too late, giving up these pucks, as it was almost a dangerous opportunity for the Jayhawks. Around the boards, Holt sends this one. Jimmy Cannon there to play it alongside Kuhn. Cannon let it go a little too far out in front of him, and sending the puck the other way is Charlie West. Middle of the ice, it's Osberg with it, trying to exit, and he does. Down goes Van Rossum as here comes Kuhn with it. Kuhn shot off the post, a ringer for Carson Kuhn. West enters after Heighthouse gets on sides. Heighthouse, again, the most recent goal scorer for these Billikens, his first goal of the season, has them now within 2. Just under, 5 minutes into the first period. Puck there, funny bounce that puck took, went off the glass, off the top of the glass then, and if it goes off the top of the glass, that more likely than not nicks the net, so refs will blow this dead and we'll have a stoppage. Haven't seen one like that before, if that is truly what happened. Of course, no NHL level replays here, so we'll not know for sure, unfortunately. Shot on, saved by the right elbow of Valentini. Siddons tries to get it out, he doesn't. Billikens keep it in. Pass down low to Frades. Frades tries to center it, but nobody home, so back to retreat and grab the puck is Stutzer. Stutzer finds West in neutral ice, and West sends it around the boards. There to pick it up is Hearn. Hearn tries to send it the other way, but gets pressured quickly by Frades, the captain for the Billikens. Hearn back with it, and it's headman up to Siddons. Siddons had to wait for that slow rolling puck. Here's Aiden Siddons, gets poke checked nicely by John West. Kuhn flips this one in, that was Stutzer. Kuhn number 3, Stutzer number 13. Missed the one on the back of Suture's jersey. Into high slot, this puck is left. Stutzer with it, drags around one. Coughs it up to Lepresti. Lepresti's shot. Couldn't find the back of the net there as the Billikens are getting ever closer. And here comes a penalty called against the Jayhawks. And it's going to be a cross-checking assessed to Zach Roberts. And the Jayhawks ever so slightly letting the Billikens into this game. As I watch the replay now, Roberts fell to the ice, and that's a tough penalty there to take if you are KU. Looked like, if anything, it was the Billiken who fell down, kind of got pushed in the back a little bit by Roberts. It didn't look like it was a cross check. He did get pushed. I don't think it was a cross check. I think his legs kind of buckled when Roberts gave him a shove, but the refs call it, and the Jayhawks are shorthanded. But, hey, they've had success shorthanded tonight. But the Billikens have also had success on the power play. Working around. This is Stutzer. Stutzer tries to wrap it around. Couldn't, and he gets tangled up by the ref's leg, so he falls down. A break for the Jayhawks. Puck, or stick laying loose on the ice, and a whistle comes, and it's a hand pass called against St. Louis, so this puck will come out in the neutral zone for a face-off, a break for KU. Just over 13 and a half remain in this third period of play. Of course, I know the Jayhawks would like to be leading bigger right now and, of course, blow the Billikens out of the water. There goes a puck up in the net. Haven't seen one come at that angle before. I was trying to clear it. It was Carney. He went off the stick of a Jayhawk and way up there. Some fans put their hands up, kind of looking like they're fans behind the plate at a baseball game on a wild pitch or a foul ball. But of course, the Jayhawks would like to be winning bigger. And, of course, the Billikens would like to be winning bigger, too. Of course, they're happy to be in this game on the road. And I think the Jayhawks expected to be up bigger in this game. But it's a senior day, and you got to love the close game. And, frankly, I'll take a close game versus a blowout or a snooze of a game either way. So the Billikens looking to make it even more interesting, still with 1:08 left on the power play. Half wall with it, Stutzer. Behind the net he goes. Stutzer comes out the other side, centers it now. Shot on by West, stick lifted by Lang. Stutzer tries to feed it down low, can't, and Hearn will send it down the length of the ice, and racing after that is Lepresti. Lepresti pressured by Vaughn. 42 seconds remain on the power play. And other corner, it's Stutzer. Stutzer tries to work around Brett Siddons, can't, and Brett will give it up to Schubert. Schubert tries to clear it, can't, lost control, and it's St. Louis with it. Stutzer dumps it back as he works off a check from Vaughn. 20 seconds remain on the power play. Swing and a miss there by Feeney, but luckily it was Braxton Landis home to corral that one. Here's Brett Siddons with it with Feeney. Siddons goes backhand. Siddons loses control. Tries to beat the Feeney, can't, and we're going to have a penalty assessed here, this time to Slew, and it'll be a tripping called against Alex Pesic. Alex Pesic. So 4 seconds remain on the penalty to Roberts. So Jayhawks will get 1:56 of power play time and a chance to give themselves some insurance as well. One power play goal already tonight, courtesy of Danny Callaghan. Not out on the ice here. Here comes Roberts out of the box. He'll go to the bench for a change. And coming on, speaking of him, is Danny Callaghan. Lang up at the point, slides it over to Vaughn. Vaughn down low to Callaghan. Callaghan tries to get it on. Poke checked aside by Belly. In neutral ice, trying to get on the rush a little bit was Heighthouse, but he was overpowered by Lang as the 5-forward power play for the Jayhawks looks to reset with 90 seconds remaining. Brett Siddons Enters cleanly. Looking for a trailer. Siddons will wait. Very patient is Brett Siddons when he gets the puck like this. Feeds it to Lang. Lang across the ice to Feeney, back up to Lang. Lang to Vaughn. Vaughn down low. Pushed aside by Billiken and cleared down the length of the ice. Valentini goes to play it out of his net. 60 seconds remain on the trip. Assessed to Pesic. Vaughn enters cleanly. Far half wall off the glass and gloved down by Lang. Lang pushed aside in a vulnerable position, and the Billikens are 2-on-1 if they hurry. It's Markowitz. He has to hold up. Markowitz shot goes off a Jayhawk stick and wide right of the net of Valentini. Brett Siddons picks it up but loses it, and the Billikens try to kill some more time. They get to this puck indeed. Down the length of the ice off the boards, John West sends that puck. 25 seconds remain on the power play for KU. Puck lays loose to the left of the net of Valentini as he hugs his post. Nice job by the SLU penalty kill, killing as much time as possible. Pretty poor power play for the Jayhawks. They have 6 seconds to redeem it. Vaughn. Giving up to Lepresti and out, and here comes Pesic out of the box. Good penalty kill for St. Louis. This is Charlie West with it. The defenseman goes offensive. West works around Roberts. Centering pass for Palter off his stick and wide of the net of Valentini. Under halfway gone, or over halfway gone. Under halfway remains in the third period. From Avid Health Sports Park here at Blue Hawk in Overland Park, Kansas, I'm Ryan Cartman bringing you this one, the final game of the season for both these squads. The Billikens from St. Louis out of Botcha Silver East, Jayhawks out of Silver West. Both these teams not playing for any playoff positioning. No playoffs to be had for these teams. These are truly their last games of the season. Both just playing to get some momentum heading into the next season. And probably a little bit of bragging rights too, if I had to imagine. Offsides waved off. Aiden Siddons tried to feed it to Huber for a tip, but just out too far out in front of him was that puck. Here's RJ Lube, tries to go across ice, can't. Taken away by Aiden Siddons, and here he comes. Siddons drops it a little too slow for Huber, so it doesn't work out well. Siddons, I think, lost sight of where that puck was. He overskated it by far. As well, here comes John Carney turning on the afterburners. Carney around the net on the backhand. Trying to center it. Loose in front. Shot! They score! Noah Stutzer, his team-leading 15th goal of the season, brings it within one now as the Billikens more than ever have life. Stutzer caught Valentini out of position. Valentini crept out a little too far into his left. And it was a great shot. Not to take away anything from a great shot of Noah Stutzer. He's the leading goal scorer of this team for a reason. And now has the Billikens within one. Shot by the Jayhawks. They score! Oh my goodness. Trading punches. And it's Danny Callaghan, his second goal of the evening. What a wicked wrister from the young man out of Illinois. Danny Callaghan ordered a little extra hot sauce on that shot. And now the Jayhawks are up 2. Still over 8.5 remaining, though. This game still not out of reach for St. Louis. And it feels like momentum is ever into balance right now. Sending this around the boards is Gavin Wasmith. Belly will send it the other way. It goes along to Stanchion. And Wasmith tries to play yo-yo with it and go the other way. Lang can't keep it in, so you have to dump it, as Rowan Vaughn and Danny Callaghan both have to touch up on sides. This is Rowan Vaughn. Vaughn dangles in with one hand. Nice job, but loses the puck. Lang falls over. Vaughn gets it back on the stick. Vaughn tries to tuck it under the leg pad of Belly. Couldn't get it through. And it is Wasmith with the puck. Wasmith up to Lang. The second line out, working for the Jayhawks. Here's a shot by Callaghan, saved off his pad and gloved down by Belly. Callaghan vying for a hat trick. The two Jayhawks on hat trick watch right now, both on the second line. Rowan Vaughn with a shorthanded goal and a power play goal, and Danny Callaghan with a power play goal and an even strength 5-on-5 goal. As it is now the fourth line out for the Jayhawks. Osberg takes the face-off and wins it. Puck by Roberts, dumped in, but goes into the netting and out of play. So just as quickly as St. Louis made it a one-goal hockey game, courtesy of a nice goal from Noah Stutzer, finding a nice shooting lane, Danny Callaghan makes it a two-goal game yet again. And that is where we sit. And folks, apologies. Realize I wasn't updating the score on the scoreboard, so if these players go back to watch this game later tonight, they're going to be ever so confused about why the score is reading what it was this late into the game. So give apologies to that one. Working the scoreboard, calling the game, looking at my notes, multitasking. Definitely not man's best friend. Centering, here's a shot, saved by Valentini. Rebound lays in the low slot, but the Jayhawks able to scoop it up, and here they come. O'Neal dumps it in off the boards, picked up by Belly and sends it to Osberg. Osberg tries to shoot it on net, but St. Louis gets to that. Dangerous puck in front of the net of Valentini. He looks at that one, glove down by Carney. And now into neutral ice. Carney with it again, sends it in, but St. Louis is offsides, and they were looking for line changes. Dumped in by the Jayhawks. They go for line changes of their own. Near corner, O'Neal battles for it with about 3 Billikens, and majority wins on that one. But O'Neal, look at him come right back. Montes O'Neal out of Missoula, Montana. Puck dumped in by Lube. Landis around to Johnson. Johnson will give it right back to Landis. And Landis will send it up headman to Siddons. Just too far in front of his stick, though. So getting to do is John West as he fires it right to John Feeney. John Feeney's shot saved by the left leg pad of Belly. Feeney tries to squirt through a couple Billikens, can't. And the Jayhawks will send this in as they go on to forecheck. Stutzer trying to keep it away from Feeney. He does. And now this is John West. West, though, turns it over to Landis, and Landis will send it deep. Jayhawks yet again look to work on a forecheck, and St. Louis trying to have a little bit of hurry now with just over 5 minutes remaining in this one. Not in any situation to pull your goal is. Nice job there by Malcolm Johnson to put Stutzer off the puck. But no need to pull your goalie yet if you are Liam Knob, but you're thinking once you get under that 3-minute mark or so, maybe right when you get to it, start thinking about taking Max Belly out of the net and opting for the extra attacker. But for now, we'll play 5-on-5. Carney cross ice to John West. And speaking about that too, it seems like ever so more now, hockey coaches, the trend has been opting for earlier goalie changes or earlier goalie pulls, beg your pardon, when the team is down in the third period. Lots of strategy is coming to that now too. You'll see teams in the first or second period with maybe a second or two remaining on the clock, they'll pull their goalie for an offensive zone faceoff for the extra attacker, knowing that the opposing team doesn't have enough time to shoot it in their net, even if it is open. Here's Aiden Siddons, tries to go 5-hole on Belly, but he stops that one and covers up with 4:17 left to go. .38 shots on goal for the Hawks, 30 for the Billikens. Off the draw, one by Huber. Huber from the dot. Huber's shot. Deflected in front of the net. Rebound opportunity. Saved yet again by Belly. Max Belly doing everything in his power to keep his Billikens team in this game as both teams talking it up with each other, asking what dinner plans are after the game, and just sharing pleasantries is all. And it's gotten a little tense here inside Advent Hill Sports Park, especially in that early part as well of the second and third periods, respectively. Huber from the top of the circle. Tries to give it to Roberts, and nobody home. Here is Holtz. Holtz battling against Huber. Holtz spins around, centers it. Markowitz. Now that is Lepresti. Couldn't get a shot on, though. Nice job by the Jayhawks defense with under 4 minutes remaining. Woolington near corner. Behind the net and around the boards. Neutral ice picked up by Hearn. Hearn now to Ibis as he enters cleanly. Ibis shot on by Woolington. Saved yet again by Belly's left leg pad. Losing a glove. That is RJ Luby. You hear him say, come on, to a referee. I think wanting a penalty. Didn't see exactly what happened there, but the penalty would kill the Jayhawks right now, at least in terms of giving St. Louis a good scoring opportunity. Off the boards, Johnson tries to keep it in, doesn't. Instead, it's Ryan Frady's the captain working the other way on the backhand, battling with Schubert. Schubert pins it up against the boards, and the puck is loose now. Trying to center it, that was Lube, couldn't. Charlie West. Around the boards, he sends this one, 2:40 remain, as looking towards his bench is Max Belly, waiting for the signal. Liam Nobbs standing on top of the bench, ready to give it at any moment. 2.5 remain. Jayhawks, though, send it in neutral ice. Nobb taking a peek at Belly now. I think once the guys are on, he's going to pull him. He won't now, can't. Vaughn with it. Vaughn goes backhand, tries to squeeze 5-hole. Nice save yet again by Belly on the 5-hole. 2:15 remain. Behind the net, this is Vaughn. Here's Lang now. Lang off the side of the net. Had a little bit of a gap to look at, but it was a really slim one at that. Ref calls a late offside. Thought Johnson kept it in. Doesn't matter. It's a turnover with 2 minutes remaining. Putting a puck on net. That was Kuhn. Saved by Valentini as giving a little bit of a push. There was Calgan to a Billiken, and can't be doing that. Can't be doing that if you're the Jayhawks. Got to keep your cool here with just under 2 minutes remaining. You don't want to give a power play to the Billikens, considering they're going to pull their goaltender and Belly right now. Yep, here comes Belly off the ice, opting for the extra attacker. Billikens only have 5 on the ice. Still have 5 on the ice. Somebody's got to get out there to be the 6th man. It's only 5 right now. Confusion on the Billikens bench. And finally, John Carney will skate onto the ice as a 6th attacker. He skated off originally, skates back on, so tired legs for John Carney right now. To the right of the net of Valentini, this comes. Empty net situation that the Jayhawks can shoot on. Stick lifted there, and now it's Markowitz. Markowitz shot. Goes wide of the net of Valentini. Might have nicked his leg pad, not sure. Shot on by the right leg pad of Valentini as that goes behind the net now. Markowitz dances and holds the line. Down to Phillips, back to Markowitz, and sent down by the Jayhawks, and just to the right of the net as this puck is iced. Almost nicked the post. Even if it nicks the post, icing is waved off there in that situation. The Jayhawks will be okay with that as well, but the clock is stopped with just 81 seconds remaining, and the faceoff coming to the right side of Valentini. Lang to take the faceoff for the Hawks. Stutzer for the Billikens. No important faceoff here. Goes to Billikens' way, at least for the moment. Along the near boards, Markowitz. Markowitz shot off the stick of Vaughn. Vaughn pushes Markowitz in as there's a shot by the Jayhawks. Goes off the post. And was a whistle blown? A whistle was blown. And I think a whistle might be blown for a penalty. Markowitz pushed in, or not Markowitz, beg your pardon, Vaughn put a hit on a Billiken. Billiken was Barkowitz, and John Carney didn't take too much exception to that hit. as he fights for his player. 68 seconds remain. 39 shots on goal for KU. 32 for St. Louis as this faceoff will come to center ice. Belly will go back into his net because of this faceoff coming to center ice. Minute 8 remain. Faceoff won by Brett Siddons. Important for the Jayhawks, keeping Belly in his net momentarily. Puck loose in neutral ice. Here comes Belly racing off the ice. Shot almost squeaked through the wickets of Valentini. Valentini hugging that left post now, and now it's Brett Siddons with it. In neutral ice, picked up, that is Stutzer. Stutzer waits to enter, he finally does. 45 seconds remain. Billikens have to go fast. Stutzer around to himself, now backhands it down low. Roberts to get it for the Jayhawks, gives it to Brett Siddons. Siddons tries to clear it, can't. Billikens still with it in their offensive ice. This is Charlie West. West backhands it on, saved by Valentini as the Jayhawks get that one out in the neutral ice. And with 22 seconds, that will all but ice this game for the Jayhawks on senior day. Hearn sends it down, trying to get a cherry on top. Couldn't with an empty net. And hooking Markowitz there was Aiden Siddons. Siddons will shoot that into the net. No goal there, of course. And you see why the Billikens players don't like that. Siddons shot it on net. And here we go. Fisticuffs here in Overland Park. That's Feeney going at it. Off to the left. Where did this come from? Feeney going at it with Lepresti. Aiden Siddons going at it with the few Billikens. And you understand why the Billikens don't like that. It was a delayed penalty. Once Siddons touched the puck, penalty is called. So even though the puck went in the net, it doesn't matter because he had possession of the puck. So because if he puts that in there, it's kind of showboating the Billikens. And of course, the Billikens aren't going to like that. The Billikens fans in front of me aren't taking too much kindness to it either, understandably. And Aiden Siddons will go off the ice. He's going to get a misconduct because of that. So in the last 10 seconds of the Jayhawks season, 9.4 to be exact, why not have a little bit of fisticuffs, huh? Really liven up this game, shoot a little caffeine into these players. So penalties on the board. One is to John Feeney. You would imagine it's for fight or for roughing. It's a minor. He probably, he still is on the ice, I think. Or is that Osberg? No, that's Osberg on the ice. So Feeney, it looks like, is off as well. From what I can tell, I do not see John Feeney anywhere. So I think he either got a misconduct or just decided to skate back to the bench. But the last 9.4 seconds of the Jayhawks season, we see a little bit of a scrum. You would have expected that a week ago today when the Mizzou game happened, but it's going to happen against another Missouri team. This one out of St. Louis. Stutzer takes the draw, won by the Jayhawks, sent down the length of the ice, dumped in neutral zone. And that'll do it. The Jayhawks close out senior day, close out their season with a series sweep against the Billikens. What a ride it has been, folks, for 4 years. Boy, you think about these seniors on the ice for the Jayhawks as Brett Siddons gives a hug to his line mate in senior John Feeney. John Feeney, Blake Kern, Zach Roberts, Malcolm Johnson, Zach Schubert. Those 5 names. The last time we'll see them wearing the crimson and the blue, and Feeney back on the ice now. Don't know if he exactly went off. I don't know if I see Siddons here as he enters as the handshake line proceeds. Looking for Aiden Siddons. No Aiden Siddons to be found, so Aiden Siddons, a sophomore, not on the ice. See Chris Stone at the handshake line as well. He's in street clothes and tan t-shirt and blue shorts. Stone knocked out early in this game because of an injury, but it'll be Valentini getting credit with the win, but still a good start to the game for Stone. And you also think about the seniors for St. Louis as well. Aiden Phillips, Thomas Palter, John West, and Charlie West. Again, congratulations to Charlie West graduating law school, as this is the last time they'll be wearing the blue and white. As even after all those fisticuffs, both teams find a way to peacefully shake hands, bump some fists, and get out of here after a tough season for the Billikens. Short-handed a lot of this season, of course, but boy, they showed some fight in their last game against the Jayhawks. As the Jayhawks tap their sticks to salute the KU faithful here inside Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. Jayhawks fans line the tunnel to send them off for one final time in 2025-2026 season. Well, the Jayhawks won the season with a 13-9-1 record. The Billikens 8-19-2 on the season. Billikens goals this evening coming courtesy of Noah Stutzer, John Carney, Ben Heithouse, and RJ Lube, a power play goal for Lube. Stutzer, that goal gave him his 15th of the season, third point of the weekend. And it's a team leading 15th goal for Stutzer. As you see on the ice there, there's a couple Billikens taking pictures. That looks to be Charlie West and John West, the brothers. Charlie there on the right. Again, graduating law school, good for him. For the Jayhawks, meanwhile, there's the goals for KU. John Feeney, shorthanded and power play goals for Rowan Vaughn. A power play goal and an even strength goal for Danny Callaghan. And also a goal for Nick Woollington. So the top three lines for the Jayhawks getting it done. That fourth line, though, battled as well. Well, folks, it's hard to want to end this broadcast. You know, spent my first 2 years with Gabe Daniel, calling games out in Independence, going on road trips, and boy, if I could look at my future self from 3 years ago, I don't know what I would tell myself other than keep at it and don't give up. Boy, this isn't going to be easy saying goodbye. But these past 2 years, of course, again, I want to give all the praise I can to Gabe Daniel, but these last 2 years have been great. Doing the play-by-play alongside Jack Maurice, of course, Daniel Schmidt. They were on the broadcast for the final times with me 2 years ago. Or for the past 2 years. They were on the broadcast with me last night for the final time. It was great getting to send off with them, and now I get to send off with you folks watching from home. And, boy, I appreciate you tuning in. We got about 52 on the stream today. And we had people checking in. I saw the O'Neills checking in from Missoula, Montana. And, boy, it's hard to want to give up this mic right now. Well, I appreciate you folks giving us a lot of praise through the highs and the lows. It hasn't been easy. Of course, I remember one of my favorite memories was my junior year last year, one of our first broadcasts. Camera didn't work. I think we had a wrong setting on there. Inserted the SDI cable and do the wrong port. And, well, we had to go radio that game. Figured it out eventually, but through the years, we bought a lot of our own gear. And, boy, it's been great to see just how this broadcast has grown, going from Gabe Daniel to me, and now giving it off to Jack Maurice and Daniel Schmidt. Don't know who will be taking the play-by-play in color next year, but either way, you folks are going to be in line for some great broadcasting for the years to come. Well, folks, I appreciate all the love, the support. You guys coming out to Blue Hawk to watch the games, and Independence as well my first couple years. And, well, I just wish you all folks a great winter, a great summer, and we'll wait for the summer to turn into fall, and that's when you know that Jayhawk hockey is right around the corner. Well, folks, thanks for making me your friends on your TV screens at home, on your phones, or wherever and however you have watched these hockey games. The Jayhawks take this senior day via a score of 6-4 over the Billikens. A big win for KU. Well, folks, with that, for the final time, putting on the headset for Jayhawk Hockey, this is Ryan Cartman saying so long and good night for now from Overland Park, Kansas. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the love. And just thank you. Thank you for everything this program has given me. So long for now from Overland Park, Kansas. Your Jayhawks beating the Billikens on Senior Day, 6-4.